I've been stuck in my dorm all semester, trying to keep my head above water, clawing at my face in the middle of the night as I struggle to keep my eyes glued to my computer. When finals week finished, I was eager to get the hell out of there, but I didn't receive the homecoming I was expecting, and the reality of my new situation is slowly killing me inside. I flew home the week after Christmas. Carry-on in hand, I walked into the airport lobby, expecting to see my family waiting for me, anxious to greet me after months away, but nobody was there. I stood there awkwardly, scanning the crowd of travelers, hoping to catch a glimpse of a familiar face. But the more I searched, the more disappointment built up in my chest. Clutching my phone, I stared at the screen, awaiting a text, a call, any sign that would let me know someone was coming. That sign never came. It'd been about 30 minutes after deboarding when I decided to call my dad, but his number went straight to voicemail. It was odd. My dad never had his phone off. I called my mom, and after a few rings, the pre-recorded message played from the other end. The robotic voice filled me with sadness, the tone disingenuous and cold. "We're sorry, phone number, can't come to the phone right now." Knowing that they would eventually call back, I took a seat in the waiting area. An hour came and went, and I was still awaiting their call. I tried Dad's phone again and perked up when the line actually rang this time. 3 rings later, my dad's throaty voice came through the speaker. "Hello? Did you forget something?" I said, annoyed. There was a pause as I heard my dad's breathing distance itself from his phone. I pictured him playfully looking at the screen, feigning confusion. His breathing returned to the speaker, and I patiently awaited the punchline. I rolled my eyes when it came. "I'm sorry. Who is this?" I should have known this was one of his pranks and huffed my frustration through the call. "I'm at the airport. Are you coming to get me?" A second pause came, this time lingering, fermenting in the palpable tension. "I'm sorry. I think you have the wrong number." He's never known when to end a ruse. "Dad." The third pause was just as long and only ended when I heard the jingle telling me that the call had ended. I was stunned. The lengths this man would go to just to play his little game. When I called back, the line rang, but he didn't answer. "I'm sorry. Can't come to the phone." I angrily ended the call and dialed again. Once again, the robotic voice greeted me instantly. "I'm sorry." I was fuming. The Uber ride home was not a happy endeavor. A scowl plastered on my face the whole time as the views of town felt sour under the ridiculous circumstances. As soon as I walked through the door, my dad would be on the floor laughing his ass off at the minor inconvenience he caused me. It would be the highlight of his week. The car came to a stop outside our house, the familiar lettering on the mailbox bringing slight relief in the shitstorm that was my life. I was finally home. Luggage in hand, I walked up to the door and gripped the knob, but when I tried turning it, it wouldn't budge. It was the last thing I needed. My fury spilled out through my knuckles as I bashed my hand on the door. "Dad, open the door. I'm here." There was movement in the window, the curtains swaying behind the blinds. Someone was watching me from the other side. I waved, and the blinds fluttered closed. They were really outdoing themselves this time. Footsteps walked across the floor on the other side of the walls and stopped just on the opposite end of the door. The knob unlatched, and the door swayed on its hinges, letting out an anguished creak. Someone was peering out of the small crack, their gaze dismissive and cold. "Hi, how can I help you?" I was clenching my fists, the joints in my hands snapping under the pressure. "Ha ha, very funny," I said as I touched the door and tried pushing it aside. My dad's eyes panicked as the door pushed against his hands, and he fought my push with one of equal strength. "Wow, wow, wow! What the fuck do you think you're doing?" Taken aback by his sudden conviction, I cowered back, stepping off the welcome mat. I'd never heard my dad curse. He opened the door the rest of the way, revealing a wooden bat in his hand, his knuckles white with intent. His shoulders were stiff and hands shaky. He looked ready to use it, but the fear in his eyes hoped he wouldn't have to. "Dad?" I questioned. The quizzical look he gave me was gut-wrenching. "It's me, Maya, your daughter." My mom peered over his shoulder. "Honey, what's going on?" When her eyes met me, she yelped. Without breaking his connection with me, my dad answered her question. "This person says their name is Maya." He paused, still calculating the situation himself. Our daughter. Horror washed over my mom's expression, and the words snagged in her throat. My dad finally glanced over at her, confirming the apparent absurdity of the situation. When their eyes returned, my dad raised the bat, shoving it in my chest. Look, I don't know if you're crazy, having some kind of a psychotic breakdown, or just some stalker, but you are not Maya. You. Disgust fluctuated his voice as he eyed me up and down. Are not my daughter. The prank had long outstayed its welcome, and I fought the awkwardness with a fragile giggle, but tears began forming in my eyes. Crackling emotion accompanied the words that left my mouth. Mom, Dad, this isn't funny anymore. My dad bared his teeth, a primal display of anger, a premonition of violence. His jaw unlatched, and I saw the fury start to wallow up from his chest. But before he could say anything, a chilling voice drifted from inside the house. Dad, what's going on? She stepped up behind my mom, craning over both of them, trying to get a look at the spectacle at the door. A void formed in the center of my chest as I recognized the person standing behind my parents. It was me. It was like staring into a mirror. The blonde hair, glasses, eyes, mouth, tone of voice, an identical twin, a doppelganger, an imposter. Shock rang in my ears, and the world became distant, muted. It was as if a bomb had gone off beside me. I was woozy, fighting not to hyperventilate. The head of the bat pushed the air out of my lungs. Hey, stop looking at her like that, you freak. I had been staring at the duplicate but wasn't sure for how long. My mom cradled her baby in her arms, protecting the girl, protecting me from myself. My dad gently placed the bat under my chin and forced my face in his direction. Look at me, you freak. If I see you around here or near my daughter again, I will take this bat and smash your head in. Do you hear me? Too stunned to say anything, I just stared at him. The bat shoved me back a few feet. Do you hear me? He growled. My mom held him back. Honey, that's enough. My dad lowered the bat but kept it at the ready. Now get the hell out of here before I call the cops. My mind sputtered and my feet started moving. It was as if I was on autopilot, as if my body was protecting me from enduring more heartbreak. When I got to the sidewalk, the door slammed, and I was left out in the cold, like a piece of trash. I wandered the street for a while, my luggage rolling behind me as I tried to figure out my next move and what the hell was going on. I eventually came across a corner store and shuffled my way inside. The clerk gave me a strange look as I walked through the door. I asked for the bathrooms, and he pointed me to the back of the store, eyeing me warily as I made my way in that direction. A woman was stepping out of one of the stalls as I walked inside and jolted when she saw me. I tried smiling at her, but she didn't return the gesture. She scurried out of the bathroom in a rush. I thought it was strange, but with so much going on, I put it out of my mind. That is until I walked up to the mirror and saw what everyone else saw. His beard was long, gray, and matted. The wrinkles on his face were deep, skin leathery. There was this smothered filth across his brows, as if he'd been standing near a coal fire all night. I reached for the glass and wiped at its surface, hoping the image would self-correct. When it didn't, I touched my face. The loose skin didn't bounce back as my fingers dragged across my cheeks. The warmth of my tears streaked down my face and soaked into the fibers of the man's beard in the mirror. The store clerk's reflection came into frame. Sir, this is the women's bathroom. You can't be in here.